This video is going to be on the new backup and restore procedure in version 3.0.5. If you've already, this 3.05 had the automatic zipping up of the file, but it named the file with the club name and the current date. I've added just one feature to 3.0.5, and that is where you can name your file and put it in a folder where you want it, or create a new folder for it. And the reason for that was some of the clubs that had already downloaded 3.0.5 were renaming the file and moving it into a folder. This just does that for you. And it also makes it in the unzipping, where some of the clubs were sending out their zipped file that the program created automatically, and the club that was getting it, either the person wasn't that computer knowledgeable or had a hard time unzipping the file. Well, the new 3.0.5 does an unzip for you and gets it all set to go. So let's go ahead, and I will go ahead and show you this, and then we'll go through a little more of it. So in our backup and restore, we do a number 1 for backup. The program now just automatically zips that file up. It doesn't ask you right off the bat for where you want to put the file. And instead of creating 50 some little files, the program now just goes ahead and zips those up, so they'll all be in a zip file. And at this point, here's where the new part of 3.0.5 has come in, where you can choose your directory and name your zip file, and No will automatically just name it where it's at. So we're going to say yes. We're going to call it monthly match. Well, I'll just call it monthly, and we'll put in today's date. And we'll say OK. And then it brings up the folder here that says, where do we want to put it? Well, we can stick it any place we want. We can select it. If we had a jump drive in there, we can do that, or we can go in and put it in a different folder, and we can create a new folder in here. We'll create a new folder, and we'll call it SAS Your Backups. And at that point, we can highlight that and say OK. And it says it's been putting in there. So if we were to go in and take a look at that, I'll slide this in and go down to our D drive, and we'll look for SAS Premier, and there it is, SAS Premier Backups, and there's our monthly match. So that's kind of where everything goes. It gets there fine. And now if we want to go ahead, and it will still send out, if you have your options set up to send your backup file to an offsite storage. I call it offsite storage, but it can be going to your backup scorekeeper or whatever. It still does that. So anyway, we can go ahead and do now a restore, and we'll do a number 2. And at this point, we're going to restore continue. And at this point, it says, is the backup file a zip file? Now, you can go and say no and go back to an older version of your backup that's not zipped up. But because we have the new zip up, we'll say yes. We'll scroll down to our D drive and go to our Premier Backups, SAS Premier Backup. Right there, and there's our zip file, and it will list them all in here. Any zip file will list. So if you had 10 of them in here, you could pick them out, and we'll say yes. We've got the processing indicator that says it's unzipping the file. And when it's done, we're back to our normal restore, where you say restore complete master from the backup, and we'll do yes, and then it does our complete restore. and our battery store is complete. Okay, so like I said, if you've already downloaded this version, you can the only change I've made was adding that to the where you can name your file and folder. So if you want to, you can just reload that or re-download the version from that link that you have, and or you will get a new one in an email. For all those that have the annual maintenance, you'll get a link that says that you'll get an email with the link to the update. Just make sure you do your backup before you do that. Now, if you do your backup, when you do your restore, you would choose no to the restore, because if you don't have the 3.030.5, you would not have a zip file yet. So anyway, if you have questions, you can always email me at give me an email. Most of you have my email address, and hopefully everything will work. And questions or comments, I would appreciate it. Okay, thanks.